This was not the man that I knew. This is not the man that I worked with. He may have had other faults, but he certainly was not drugging people.
What I can say is this: I wasn't there. No one was there except for the two people to know exactly what happened.
Picture this. You're scrolling through the internet and you come across a headline that stops you dead in your tracks. The infamous scene that took the Cosby Show off the air. Your mind starts racing. What could have happened? What scene was so shocking that it ended one of America's most beloved TV shows? Well, here's the thing that might surprise you. That headline is completely wrong. There was no infamous scene that took the Cosby Show off the air. In fact, the real story of how this groundbreaking show ended is far different from what many people believe, and it's a story that needs to be told correctly. Today, we're going to dive deep into the truth behind the Cosby Show's ending, separate fact from fiction, and discover what really happened when America said goodbye to the Huxtable family. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're about to uncover some surprising truths that will change how you think about television history. Let's start at the beginning. The Cosby Show wasn't just any ordinary TV show. When it first aired in 1984, it was like a lightning bolt that struck American television. Bill Cosby, who played Dr. Cliff Huxtable, had created something truly special. This wasn't just entertainment, it was a cultural phenomenon that would change the way America saw families, particularly black families, on television. The show followed the daily lives of the Huxtables, an upper-middle-class African-American family living in Brooklyn, New York. Cliff was a doctor. His wife, Claire, was a lawyer. And together, they were raising 5 children in a house filled with love, laughter, and life lessons. What made this show so revolutionary wasn't just that it featured a successful black family. It was how normal and relatable they were. They dealt with the same problems every family faces: homework, struggles, teenage drama, sibling rivalry, and the everyday chaos of family life. But here's what made The Cosby Show truly groundbreaking. Before this show came along, most portrayals of black families on television were either stereotypical or showed families struggling with poverty and social issues. The Cosby Show flipped that script completely. The Huxtables were educated, wealthy, and successful. But more importantly, they were just like any other loving family. They weren't defined by their race, they were defined by their love for each other. The impact was immediate and massive. Within its first season, The Cosby Show became the #1 show on television. It wasn't just popular with black audiences, it was beloved by viewers of all backgrounds. Families across America, regardless of their race or economic status, saw themselves reflected in the Huxtables. The show proved that audiences were hungry for positive, family-friendly content that showed successful, loving families. For 8 years, The Cosby Show dominated Thursday nights on NBC. It consistently ranked as one of the top shows on television, often holding the #1 spot. The show launched careers, influenced fashion trends, and even boosted enrollment at historically black colleges and universities, thanks to the spin-off show A Different World. The Cosby Show wasn't just a TV program. It had become a cultural institution. The characters became like family members to viewers across the country. There was Sondra, the overachieving oldest daughter who married Martin and sometimes drove her parents crazy with her know-it-all attitude. Denise was the free-spirited middle child who marched to the beat of her own drum and kept everyone guessing with her unique fashion choices and unconventional decisions. Theo was the lovable son who struggled in school but had a heart of gold and dreams bigger than his grades. Vanessa was the typical middle child, trying to find her place in the family hierarchy, and little Rudy was the baby of the family who could melt hearts with just one smile. Each character brought something special to the show, but it was the family dynamic that really made The Cosby Show magical. Cliff and Claire weren't perfect parents. They made mistakes, got frustrated, and sometimes didn't know what to do. But they loved their children unconditionally, and they always found a way to turn life's challenges into teachable moments. Whether Theo was failing math or Vanessa was trying to grow up too fast, the Huxtable parents approached every situation with wisdom, humor, and endless patience. The show's writing was brilliant in its simplicity. It didn't rely on cheap laughs or outrageous situations. Instead, it found humor in the everyday moments that every family experiences. Who could forget Cliff's epic battles with his children over homework, his legendary sandwich-making skills, or his attempts to avoid Claire's healthy cooking by sneaking junk food? These weren't just funny moments. They were real moments that families everywhere could relate to. But The Cosby Show was more than just entertainment. It was educational without being preachy. The show regularly featured elements of African American culture, history, and achievement. The Huxtable house was filled with artwork by black artists, and the show often highlighted historically black colleges and universities. Jazz music, which Bill Cosby loved in real life, was woven throughout the show's DNA. The program celebrated black excellence, while never making viewers feel like they were being lectured. As the years went by, The Cosby Show continued to evolve and grow with its audience. The children got older, new challenges arose, and the family dynamics shifted naturally. When Lisa Bonet, who played Denise, left the show to star in the spin-off A Different World, the show adapted. When she returned, married with a stepdaughter, the show welcomed these changes and used them to explore new storylines about blended families and young marriage. The show also wasn't afraid to tackle serious issues when appropriate. They dealt with topics like teenage pregnancy, peer pressure, and the importance of education, but they always did so within the context of a loving, supportive family environment. The Huxtables showed viewers that no problem was too big to handle when you had family support and open communication. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, The Cosby Show was still performing well in the ratings, but Bill Cosby began thinking about the future. He had accomplished something remarkable. He had created a show that changed television forever. But he also understood something that many successful people in entertainment struggle with: the importance of knowing when to walk away while you're still on top. This is where the real story of The Cosby Show's ending begins, and it's completely different from the myth about an infamous scene. Bill Cosby made a deliberate, carefully considered decision to end the show after 8 seasons. He wasn't forced to leave by controversy or low ratings. He wasn't pushed out by network executives or pulled off the air due to any particular scene or incident. Instead, he made the choice that many creators wish they had the courage to make. He decided to end his show while it was still great. In interviews at the time, Cosby explained his reasoning. He felt that 8 years was the right amount of time to tell the Huxtable family's story. He wanted to go out on a high note, while the show was still beloved and respected. He had proven his point about positive family television, launched successful careers for his co-stars, and created a legacy that would influence television for generations to come. Rather than risk the show declining in quality or overstaying its welcome, he chose to bring it to a planned, dignified conclusion. The decision to end The Cosby Show was announced well in advance, giving the writers and producers time to craft a proper farewell. They didn't have to rush to tie up loose ends or scramble to create a satisfying conclusion. Instead, they were able to plan a final season that would bring the Huxtable family's story to a meaningful close. The final season of The Cosby Show focused largely on Theo's college graduation, which provided a perfect bookend to the show's run. Throughout the series, viewers had watched Theo struggle academically, worry about his future, and grow from a carefree teenager into a responsible young man. His graduation represented not just his personal achievement, but the success of Cliff and Claire's parenting philosophy. They had raised a son who, despite his academic challenges, had persevered and achieved his goals. The series finale, titled "And So We Commence," aired on April 30th, 1992. It was a two-part episode that drew over 24 million viewers, making it one of the most watched series finales of its era. The episode was both a celebration and a farewell, focusing on Theo's college graduation ceremony while also reflecting on the family's journey throughout the series. What made this finale so special was how it honored the show's legacy while providing closure for the characters and the audience. As Theo walked across the stage to receive his diploma, viewers were reminded of all the growth and love they had witnessed over 8 seasons. The episode featured flashbacks to earlier moments in the series, allowing longtime fans to relive some of their favorite Huxtable memories. But perhaps the most memorable moment of the series finale had nothing to do with dialogue or plot. In the final scene, as the credits rolled, Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad, still in character as Cliff and Claire, danced together one last time. It was simple, beautiful, and perfect. They danced as the lights dimmed and the cameras pulled back, symbolically dancing their way out of America's living rooms and into television history. This scene wasn't infamous or controversial. It was touching and appropriate. It showed a couple who had loved each other and their family for 8 years, still finding joy in each other's company. It was a reminder that despite all the challenges and changes the Huxtable family had faced, their love had remained constant. For viewers who had invested emotionally in this family for nearly a decade, it was a perfect goodbye. The timing of The Cosby Show's finale was also significant for reasons beyond the show itself. The final episode aired during the 1992 Los Angeles riots, a period of intense social unrest following the Rodney King verdict. At the time, Bill Cosby made public appeals for peace and unity, using his platform to call for calm during a turbulent period in American history. This added another layer of meaning to the show's conclusion, as it ended during a time when the positive vision of American family life it had promoted seemed more important than ever. After The Cosby Show ended, its impact continued to resonate throughout the television industry. The show had proven that audiences wanted quality family programming, and it influenced countless other shows that followed. It demonstrated that diverse casting and storytelling could be both commercially successful and culturally significant. The show's success opened doors for other creators and performers of color, paving the way for a more inclusive television landscape. The cast members went on to have varied careers after the show ended. Phylicia Rashad became a respected stage actress and director, eventually becoming the first black woman to win a Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play. Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theo, continued acting and also became a musician and director. The other young cast members pursued different paths, some staying in entertainment, while others chose different careers entirely. For years after its conclusion, The Cosby Show remained popular in reruns, introducing new generations to the Huxtable family. The show's positive messages about family, education, and personal responsibility continued to resonate with viewers long after the original episodes had aired. Parents would watch reruns with their children, sharing the lessons and laughter that had made the original show so special. It's important to acknowledge that in later years, the legacy of The Cosby Show became complicated due to the serious criminal allegations and legal issues involving Bill Cosby himself. These developments, which occurred decades after the show ended, led many networks to sex. Looking back, more than 30 years later, The Cosby Show's influence on television and American culture is undeniable. It changed how families were portrayed on TV, proved that diverse programming could be mainstream hits, and showed that comedy could be both funny and meaningful. The show's approach to depicting successful black family life was groundbreaking and influential, inspiring other creators to tell their own stories with similar honesty and dignity. The show also demonstrated the power of positive representation. By showing the Huxtables as a normal, loving family who happened to be black, The Cosby Show helped break down stereotypes and change perceptions. Children of all backgrounds could see themselves in the Huxtable kids, while parents could aspire to the kind of loving, supportive relationship that Cliff and Claire modeled. This representation mattered then, and it continues to matter today. From a technical standpoint, The Cosby Show was also innovative. The show's use of music, particularly jazz, helped introduce younger audiences to this important American art form. The show's fashion, especially the colorful sweaters that became Bill Cosby's trademark, influenced style trends of the era. Even the show's opening credits, featuring the family dancing and playing in various settings, became iconic and were often imitated by other programs. The educational aspects of The Cosby Show were subtle but significant. Without being preachy or obvious about it, the show regularly featured information about African American history, culture, and achievements. The walls of the Huxtable home were decorated with artwork by black artists, and the show often mentioned historically black colleges and universities. This cultural education was woven seamlessly into the entertainment, making learning feel natural and enjoyable. Perhaps most importantly, The Cosby Show proved that television could be a force for good in society. At a time when many critics argued that TV was becoming increasingly violent, vulgar, or mindless, The Cosby Show demonstrated that audiences would embrace programming that was intelligent, uplifting, and family-friendly. The show's success encouraged other creators to develop similar programs, leading to what many consider a golden age of family television in the late 80s and early 1990s. The show's impact extended beyond entertainment into real-world social change. Studies showed that The Cosby Show helped improve racial attitudes, among white viewers, as regular exposure to the positive portrayal of black family life helped break down prejudices and stereotypes. The show also inspired many young people to pursue higher education, particularly at historically black colleges and universities, which saw increased enrollment during the show's run. Today, as we look back at The Cosby Show's legacy, we can appreciate what it accomplished during its 8-year run, while also acknowledging the complexity of its later associations. The show itself remains a landmark achievement in television history, representing a time when network television could bring families together and promote positive values through quality entertainment. The myth of an infamous scene ending The Cosby Show reminds us of the importance of media literacy in our digital age. It's easier than ever for false information to spread, especially when it involves celebrities or popular culture. Before accepting sensational claims about TV shows, movies, or public figures, it's always worth checking multiple reliable sources and looking for primary evidence. The real story of how The Cosby Show ended is actually more inspiring than any fictional controversy could be. It's the story of a creator who had the wisdom to know when his story was complete and the courage to end it while it was still beloved. It's the story of a show that changed television forever and then gracefully stepped aside to let others follow in its footsteps. As we wrap up this exploration of The Cosby Show's real ending, it's worth reflecting on what we can learn from this landmark series. The show demonstrated the power of positive representation, the importance of family values, and the potential for television to both entertain and educate. It proved that audiences were hungry for programming that respected their intelligence and appealed to their better angels. The Cosby Show's 8-season run represents one of television's greatest success stories, not because of any controversy or scandal, but because it accomplished exactly what it set out to do. It told the story of a loving family, changed how America saw itself, and left the airwaves with dignity and grace. That's a legacy worth remembering accurately. So the next time you see a headline claiming there was an infamous scene that ended The Cosby Show, you'll know the truth. The show ended because its creator decided it was time. After 8 seasons of groundbreaking television that changed the medium forever. Sometimes the real story is more remarkable than any myth. And in the case of The Cosby Show, W's conclusion, that's definitely true. If you enjoyed learning the real story behind The Cosby Show's ending, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Help us spread accurate information and combat the myths that too often pass for fact online. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into television history and popular culture. We're always working to separate fact from fiction and bring you the real stories behind your favorite shows and movies. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.